Destroy. Terminate.
Our next film, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes from 1978. There's nothing more frightening than a raging Solanum lycoperiscum, fiery red, able to bounce fiendishly on any surface and capable of exploding with toxic enormity. Killer Tomatoes planned an invasion in the late 70s. Attack of Killer Tomatoes is a hilarious spoof of B-movies from the 50s and 60s. Created on a budget of around $100,000, it was actually a huge success and led to 3 sequels.
Across this great nation, almost everyone has been affected in one way or another by this terrible tomato onslaught. Mrs. Williams, I understand your husband is missing.
Yes,
Do you think he's dead?
Well,
Will you miss him? Will you marry again? What if he's laying in a ditch somewhere, with both his legs broken, calling your name? You will have to find another man, you know. You're no spring chicken.
Lives are shattered. The nation is in chaos. Death and destruction sweeps the country. Foursquare Productions presents perhaps the funniest film ever made. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. You've never seen a film like it. This is the incredible story of the world's ultimate disaster. Vicious, man-eating tomatoes grow to monstrous proportions.
The film opens with a scroll saying that when Alfred Hitchcock's film The Birds, 1963, was released, audiences laughed at the notion of birds revolting against humanity. But when an attack perpetrated by birds occurred in 1975, no one laughed. This is followed by a pre-credits sequence of a tomato rising out of a woman's garbage disposal. Her puzzlement turns into terror as the tomato draws her into a corner. Following the credits, the police investigate her death. One officer discovers that the red substance in which she is covered is not blood, but tomato juice. A series of attacks perpetrated by tomatoes occurs, including a man dying by drinking tomato juice made from a killer tomato. A boy heard being gobbled up by a killer tomato.
He got little Timmy.
Poor Timmy.
He ate him all up.
And a sequence where the tomatoes attack innocent swimmers in a parody of Jaws. The US president assembles a crack team, or is that a team full of crackers, led by Mason Dixon. There is a disguise expert, a scuba diver Olympic swimmer, and a parachuting soldier who happens to tow his parachute everywhere he goes. The team assembled by the president are inept, and the tomatoes continue to gorge on the human population. Tanks and soldiers fail to hold them back until Mason Dixon discovers that the president's secretary has learned how to control the tomatoes and intends to rule the world. Dixon realizes that the tomatoes revile the song Puberty Love. Shades of Tim Burton's Mars Attacks, I believe. Eventually, the tomatoes are cornered in a stadium. and weird people in costumes confront, blaring out, puberty loves making the tomatoes shrink, and the crazies stomp them to death. The film ends with a carrot that rises from the soil and says, "All right, you guys, they're gone now."